At that time, Beato noticed something. Her body had been detected by a magical searching technique. The evil witch's furniture had sniffed this place out.
So boorishness is the witch's way of doing things after all. To think that she doesn't even intend to let those two young ones speak together of their love.
45 data received. Checking target confirmed as the predecessor Lady Beatrice. Analyzing parlor defensive wall. 72-layered, multi-layered defensive wall, attack-proof barrier, anti-magic armor. Sniping into the parlor will be impossible. Data linked to 410. 410 data received. Then we've just gotta kill predecessor first, yeah. Great, Lady Beatrice. Your fire permission, please. Go ahead and shoot. Oh, and avoid her vital areas. There's something I want to ask that old hag. 410, firing. The Chester sisters' gold bow released a gold snake. It crawled down the corridor, starting from the front of the servant room, aiming for the parlor as it drew a soft, snake-like curve-like trajectory. And pierced Beato's chest. Wah! Gold butterflies gathered, and the cruel witch appeared along with her furniture.
Predecessor, no further obstructions will be permitted. I didn't think they would be. Still, the Chester sisters really have gotten rusty. To think that they failed to bring me down. And twice at that.
Renove spoke in a manner befitting the witch's butler. As she pushed her pain aside, Beatrice grinned and spoke back. My apologies, predecessor. We were ordered to avoid vital areas. As soon as we get the order, we can pierce you at any time. We can pierce a hole in your ears, a hole in your belly button, any hole you like. The gold snake that had pierced Beatrice grew even longer, drawing a funnel-shaped helix and awaiting its next order. It was prepared to pierce the vital spot as soon as the evil witch told it to.
For what reason would someone like you, who is no less brutal than I, make them avoid my vital areas? New Beatrice?
I wanted to ask you something. I don't know what kind of trick you used to escape, but we thought we took you out, right? Why is it that even though you could have escaped by hiding, you took the risk of appearing again? It can't be that you actually came back just to protect those two young people, right?
Well, who knows?
And just a second ago, why did you do something as soft as reviving the lovers and reuniting them? The more I hear about you, the more I learn that I don't even reach up to your feet as an incarnation of evil. If you're like that, why did you suddenly start to act so mildly? That's what I wanted to ask.
I am brutal, therefore I am fickle. What purpose could questioning that possibly serve?
Chester sisters, sew her! When she ordered that, the gold snake that was curled in a helix, suspended in space, moved as fast as a real snake going in after its prey, and pierced Beatrice's body multiple times from both sides, its gold tail drawing an X shape. As the cruel witch had ordered, it drew a cross-stitch through Beato's chest. The gold thread made a squeaking sound and tormented Beato. Rather than a gold snake searching for its prey, it waited for orders like a sewing needle ready to sew Beato. If it's you we're talking about, there's no way it could have been a whim. I've heard about you, and I've learned. You're such an incarnation of evil that I don't even rise up to your feet. I thought I was truly a fitting successor to you. But you've always been the way. You always say warm, pleasant things that shock me. What changed you? You explored the depths of evil for 1,000 years, and I let you live. Because I wanted to know what happened to make you change so much.
If you really want to know, then I suggest you waste 1,000 years as well.
So. Beatrice's chest was once again sewn in a golden cross-stitch. It tightened once again, squeezing fresh blood from Beato's chest. The intense pain had caused it to run in conflict with the beauty to the eye. You might be one of those things that disappear when they die and don't even leave a corpse, so I'll kill you slowly. But if you answer my questions honestly, I'll let you die easy. I'll give you a splendid, gorgeous death, perfect for my predecessor. I'll sink you in a coffin filled with water and roses. Isn't that wonderful? And you still won't talk? About the reason for your change of heart?
Not answering when she is asked is another one of the evil witch's pleasures.
Let me try again.
Not answering when she is asked is another one of an evil witch's pleasures.
So, twice. Of course you don't have to answer. After all, that way I get to torture you. The endless magic truly is wonderful. When you think about it, this world is limited in every way. The endless cannot exist in the human world. Because gods are without limits, the human world is deprived of all limitlessness so they can be looked down upon. So in other words, this endless power is the power of the gods. A wonderful power where the more you play with it, the more fun ways of playing you find. You used that power as you please for 1,000 years and went on a rampage. Why are you having a change of heart only now? You aren't going to say you regret handing it over to me, are you? Oh, thank you for being born. I love that song.
How could I regret it? The endless magic you believe in is no magic at all. True magic lies in that deep abyss that you most certainly cannot reach.
And this is what you realized? Then, what is it?
Wander about for 1,000 years without realizing, foolish witch.
So 3 times this time. Beato's chest had been embroidered with gold thread. It tightened even more, causing Beato more and more pain. Well, that's fine. I'm no longer curious about what kind of revelations an old hag who refuses to die might have had. I'm bored now, so I'll just kill you. If I do, the magic barrier around the parlor will dissolve. Then I'll torture Kano and Jessica to death a whole bunch of times. Being able to have 2 lovers as my toys at the same time sounds pretty fun, right? Kill her! Without missing by a millimeter, the gold sewing thread shot through Beato's heart. That intense pain was worse than all the pain before that put together. Beato finally remembered the actual feeling of dying, which she had forgotten over the course of 1,000 years. But she couldn't die. She must not die. If she died, it would mean handing over the 2 in the parlor to the cruel witch. So she definitely couldn't die. She resolutely refused to die.
New Beatrice, I have a request. The lovers' meeting between the 2 in the parlor will not last long. In the amount of time an hourglass can measure, Ken will probably vanish into the land of the dead. Would you please allow them at least that much time?
No way! Isn't tearing apart the 2 who love each other fun? You said it yourself, so I want to try it.
In that case, I mustn't allow you that pleasure. Yes, it can be fun tearing apart lovers.
Really? I'm sure it is fun. So don't get in my way. So more. So. 410 understood. The merciless gold sewing needles sewed the gold thread through Beato's heart over and over again. However, no matter how much it tightened, that heart did not stop.
This isn't nearly enough. I won't die by something like this!
What are you doing? Make this old hag shut up. Kill her quickly. We're killing her. Even though we sewed her heart in place several times, this person's heart won't stop. Are you immortal?
Of course not. I've handed the endless over to you. my heart will not beat many more times. However, if by making it beat just once more I can give the two in this room a bit more time, I'll continue that resistance for all eternity.
So! Keep sewing until her heart stops moving! Why doesn't she die? It's impossible! Why isn't her heart stopping, even though it's been sewn in place? Who cares? We'll make the heart explode from the inside, yeah? How pitiful. And you could have died cleanly if you existed. Who cares? We'll make the heart explode from inside, yeah? How pitiful. And you could have died cleanly if you hadn't resisted us.
As they said that, even though the gold needle and thread made round trips over and over, Beto still didn't die. The cruel witch eventually grew pale at how bizarre this was.
What in the world are you?
You probably cannot understand. Even I didn't understand, and yet, somehow or another, it seems that this is true magic. In other words, I have now become it. I have become a true witch.
Fiery explosion center heart interior. Fuse preparations ready. Explode!
There was a terrible sound, and gold leaf was scattered around the area along with a cloud of gold butterflies. Beto's chest had opened wide from the inside, and from that, gold butterflies and gold leaf poured out, staining the surrounding area gold. Then Beto's flesh crumpled. Like a puppet whose strings had been cut, she crouched down and crumpled. However, a gold heart tied by the gold threads floated in the air and continued to beat.
What the... Monster!
When the Chester sisters saw that, they fell on their butts in shock. Somehow, even though Beto had become nothing more than a heart, it still kept beating, continuing to protect the bearer to the parlor. It was an immeasurably vast magical power, impossible to measure. In other words, endless.
I'm the Endless Witch, right? Why is this old hag still alive after all this? Chester sisters! Smash that heart! Quickly! It's impossible! My apologies! We can't do it!
Indeed, it probably will be impossible. No number of people could crush that heart, and certainly not the soldiers who serve under His Highness the Dragon King.
In that case, an Endless Witch like me should be able to crush it, right? My power is that of a god!
I'm afraid to say that your power cannot leave a single wound on the Endless of Beatrice.
Just what do you mean by that?
Just that there can be no light without knowledge of the shadows. There can be no infinite without knowledge of the finite. Therefore, milady Beatrice's true endless power, your frail magic is quite lacking.
What is that?
The cruel witch was surprised and stepped back. It was thinner than a lace curtain, but Beatrice's form, no. Beatrice's form was still standing there. Even after being laid bare so tragically like this, she refused to let evil through that door. At that time, a shadow as thin as Beatrice stood behind her. It was Canon. Beatrice, thank you very much. I won't forget what you've done for us. I'll hear those words of yours once as the number of my blessings has surpassed the number of grievances I've caused. Was that long enough? Yes, truly. Thank you very much. And Beatrice, you have also done enough. Please, be at peace. Is that so? Is this enough?
What's going on? Why are you guys calling that old hag Beatrice? Beatrice is my name, right? It's got to be since I'm the new Golden Witch and Endless Witch, right?
How rude. How dare you claim Beatrice's name? I'm afraid to say that the name of Beatrice belongs to the one crowned as the Endless Witch. Right now, you're the predecessor.
What did you say?
Farewell, Kano. I'm sure I'll see you soon enough. In a new nightmare. In the nightmare of a new night, I'll once again be your companion, Beatrice. With that, if you excuse me.
Kanon's form grew faint, and he disappeared into thin air. After watching him go, Beatrice's form also grew faint. Before disappearing, it slumped over onto the floor. Then, there was a splat. The golden heart that had been floating midair lost its sparkle and became blood-stained flesh, and it fell to the ground. How frail it was! It was ragged and full of holes, but until a moment ago, it sparkled so much and had continued to beat so forcefully. That heart still just barely managed to beat. However, it was only a matter of time before it stopped. Beatrice's form, who had become fragile and faint like incense smoke, lay on the floor, steadily watching her own heart. There, the cruel witch could be seen. What do you mean, endless? Aren't you actually collapsed in a heap right there? How could there be a finite infinity? That's a contradiction. It couldn't exist. This is the limit of your magic. The endless is better than the finite. Beatrice no longer even had the will to respond. No. On the contrary, it was doubtful that the words of the cruel witch even reached her ears. If you're a real endless witch, try standing up. How's it going? You can't stand, can you? Why do you think you can stand? It's because you aren't the endless witch. The cruel witch poked Beatrice's heart with her fingernail. Beatrice had no words to which to respond to that provocation. However, instead of words, she returned a single expression. It felt humiliating only to the cruel witch. Because she had a gently curved smile. Footsteps were approaching that place. There was no way she had misheard it. That rough squeaking of the heels was the sound of Battler's footsteps.
Battler, is it? After talking so tough, I ended up like this. I've been trying to become the true witch you talked about, in my own way.
Yeah, I was watching.
Hey, have I been able to become a witch? Have I earned the right to become your opponent?
It's useless. Battler said it unbelievably bluntly. As Beatrice breathed painfully, she saw this and sneered at herself, as though she should have expected it.
I see. Yes, the road to becoming a true witch will be much, much longer than this.
However,
I will not surrender, just like you never surrendered to my torture. I will definitely become a true witch and be accepted as your opponent.
yeah, it's useless. It's all useless. You aren't my opponent. The cruel witch raised her foot high. Below was Beatrice's frail heart. Die, you old hag! Let's see how endless you are when you've been crushed to a pulp! I'm the witch! I'm the golden witch Beatrice! Die! Get in your seat. Beto isn't my opponent. You are. But Battler! What kind of magic is this? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Jester Sisters! 45 understood. Attacking everywhere. 410 understood. Die, Battler! The Jester Sisters readied their own golden bows and fired golden arrows. The two only pulled the bowstring together using the precision guidance. If they were fighting against an enemy before their eyes, they fired their bows at the same time, and their might did not suffer in the slightest. I'm sorry, messed up. What? It was deflected? There's no barrier! It was deflected by resistance alone! 45 target analysis? 45 understood. Huh? What? Did I break down? Am I insane? Anti-magic resistance power! Endless 9! Even mythical class magical attacks will be effective against the target! Golden bow warheads could penetrate any magical armor through reciprocal corrosion. When one tried to block it with an anti-magic resistance power, even 8 digits were not sufficient to prevent their penetration. By the way, even famous gods that appear in myths, each rare... God damn it! Hold on. Okay. By the way, even famous gods that appear in myths rarely reach as high as 9 digits. For that reason, 9 digits were enough to measure pretty much all sensible values. Battler had buried all 9 of those digits with 9s. How foolish. When Battler gets serious, magical arrows and the like aren't enough to even make his hair tremble. The Jester Sisters dropped their golden bows in shock. To Battler himself, it was as though a pair of dragonflies had flown past his shoulder. What are you doing? Is that some kind of game? Monster! Stay back, small fries! Get in your seat, fake witch! I'll tear out that mask of yours! The Jester Sisters couldn't hide their fear at Battler's ferocity. They backed up as though they'd been struck. Battler watched the scene in shock.
Battler! What is this supposed to be?
Just like you see, you aren't my opponent. She is! That imposter over there who's using your name! I'm fighting against a witch! I face off against an opponent who claims to be a witch, and I deny witches by defeating them! I've seen more than enough of your arrogance! Then Battler's eyes grew as sharp as blades as he stared down the cruel witch. What are you calling magic? What are you calling witches? You're no witch! I'll rip that mask off and tear it to shreds! Virgilia, get ready to fight!
Understood. Preparations are complete, so go whenever you're ready. Beatrice, stay back and rest. Indeed.
Beto looked at Battler timidly. She still hadn't been acknowledged as his opponent, but she qualified to watch the game board from the sidelines. Beto, stay back and watch! I'll tear it off! I'll thoroughly dismantle this fake witch! I won't let someone like this call themselves a witch! You protected the honor of true witches! You don't need to say anything. On your behalf, I'll teach her that the name of the Golden Witch definitely isn't that cheap.
Battler. Those are the general rules.
Thank you, Renove. I get most of the rules now. I see. You can't win with magic, so you came to face off with me in a world where victory is decided by something other than magic. Foolish people! Do you really think you can win against me with twisted logic? Yeah, I do. I'll crush all your twisted logic on Ava. I am not Ava. That is the name of the old shell I shed. I am a true witch born inside of her. Don't try to trick me. Your true form isn't a witch or anything like that, but flesh and blood human. The human culprit Ushuramiya Ava. Virgilia, reconstruct the second twilight.
Understood. On the second twilight, Rosa and Maria were killed in the Rose Garden. We begin by applying the Ava culprit theory for that case.
Huh? Ridiculous. Come, arise. Try to remember. What form did Ushuramiya Hideyoshi have? What? What's this supposed to be?
It's a summoning of the dead. a witch can easily bring the dead to stand for testimony.
On the opposing side, a transparent Uncle Hideyoshi was summoned. Talk about convenient. He looked as though he couldn't see what was going on here, almost like a person on the other side of the TV. Witness summons. Ushiromiya Hideyoshi's testimony. Come, Hideyoshi, speak. I was taking care of Ava in our room the whole time. Of course Ava didn't leave the room. On Ava. Around here, testimony that isn't read isn't worth crap. I demand that he repeats it again in red. Oh yeah, that's right. Sure. Say it in red. I was in the room the whole time, both before and after the time of the crime. See? Look. This makes it impossible for Ava to be the culprit, right? How would you counter this? Ridiculous. That move's so lame I could yawn. Beto never used such childish tricks, not even once.
Battler.
Repeat it! Aunt Ava was also in the room the entire time before and after the crime. Uncle Hideyoshi was just there to create an alibi. You made him stay in the room and stealthily snuck out. If that isn't true, this guy should be able to say so in red. I refuse to repeat it. Hideyoshi's evidence is sufficient. There's no need for me to repeat that, right? She has refused. You need to show no mercy. This is check. Yeah, I'll take it. This opponent's slow. Check. Maybe Uncle Hideyoshi didn't leave that room the whole time, but saying that he was taking care of you the whole time is a bright red lie. Therefore, no alibi exists for you. You had a chance to slip out of the room and kill Aunt Rosa and Maria. If you think you can dodge that, try proclaiming that in red that Aunt Ava didn't take a step outside of her room. You can't, right? Checkmate! What the hell? I don't get it! Sorry, Aunt Ava. Even if you aren't used to the rules, beating your opponent down with all your strength is how this game is played. Right, Banto?
Indeed. The witch side resigns. Let's continue on to the next game. Next is the 4 through 6 Twilights.
It seemed the witch didn't understand how to make a winning move, and she lost her composure and irritation. She was probably also angry that the shot had been taken at her while she still didn't get what was going on. However, I won't go easy on her at all. Just like she didn't go easy on the victims at all, I won't go easy on her! Virgilia, next crime! Let's reconstruct the case with Dad and the rest!
Understood. 3 people, Rudolph, Kiria, and Hideyoshi, went to the mansion and were killed there.
My move won't change. Aunt Ava, you are the culprit! This time, you don't even have an alibi from Uncle Hideyoshi. You claim that you were sleeping in that room all by yourself. But that's not true. If you can proclaim it in red, just try it. I refuse. So tell me. Ava is just a woman. And the people who died were 3 adults with 2 guns, right? How did she kill them all by herself? How did she do it with those takes as weapons? Like everyone keeps asking, how's the stake shooting device constructed? Explain that! Unless you could explain it, even if Aunt Ava doesn't have an alibi, that doesn't mean that it was possible for her to commit the murders. I refuse to explain. It's a devil's proof. Just because I can't explain, that doesn't deny the existence of an unknown murder technique, or maybe an unknown weapon. In short, even if I can't explain how the stake shooting device is constructed, that doesn't prove it doesn't exist. What the hell? Does that ridiculousness even count?
Your devil's proof is valid. Agreed. It is a valid devil's proof. Battler can claim that stake shooting device exists without bearing the responsibility of explaining how it is constructed. The witch side cannot object to this move. Not bad. How pushy.
Heh. Well, there's this ill-natured witch who trained me well. This is check, okay? Try saying in red that Aunt Ava didn't take a step out of that room. That's right. You shouldn't be able to say it. If you can't say it, it's over. Checkmate! That's so irrational. This is messed up.
Those are the rules of this game. How about some black tea first? And some delicious cookies as well.
I don't need all that! Ah, that pisses me off! So you fight like a coward just because you can't win with magic! Don't get irritated. Drink some black tea or something. I'll take mine straight. What about you, Beto?
I'm fine. More importantly, Battler, don't let your guard down. Your opponent is only unfamiliar with the rules. This will only really start once your opponent gets the gist of it.
But I'll crush her. I'll thoroughly crush her. Because she isn't a witch. If I accept her as a witch, all your stubbornness will count for nothing. I don't care what kind of irrational argument or twisted logic I have to use. I'll crush her with all my heart and soul. Battler sighed, then struck with the Eva culprit theory to explain Cross and Natsuhi, the seventh-day Twilights, in the exact same way. At the time, there had been no more on the first floor except for Eva and the victims. As before, no one could establish an alibi for Eva, and back then Eva had claimed it disappeared while she went to the bathroom. But there was nothing to support that, and the witch side couldn't repeat in red either. Using the same style of argument as that question regarding the stake shooting machine, the witch side asked once more how Ava could have strangled both of them at the same time all by herself. But of course, Battler bluntly counterattacked by refusing to explain because of the devil's proof. Under the storm and stress of Battler's spirit, the witch side was completely swallowed up. Having to resign 3 times in a short period of time, she had to grasp the rules. I see. I'm finally starting to get a knack of it. I won't let you have things your own way anymore. This time, let me take the initiative. Renove. Reconstruct the 4 through 6 Twilights. Pick out Ushurimiya Kirie. For now, let me return to the murders of Rudolph Kirie and Hideyoshi during the 4 through 6 Twilights.
What is she thinking? Why would she return once more to a situation where she's lost? I see. This is an unusual attack, and one you do not use. Be careful.
At the time, the survivors were barricaded in the guest house. They didn't have food, but out of concern for their safety, they were at least prepared to go without eating until the next day. However, in the end, 3 of them went out for food. That's right. In the end, 3 people went outside to get food. It's a pain, so I'll add in some red and say it. Kirie didn't think that they needed food. Since going out without food for a day wouldn't kill them, she claimed that they should not leave the guest house, and yet she herself suggested they leave the guest house to get food. Isn't that a contradiction?
Yes, a spectacular contradiction. A contradiction exists in Kirie's pattern of behavior.
That contradiction was created by me with magic. In other words, I controlled Kirie using magic and made her say that to lure the sacrifices outside. Ridiculous! There's no way that kind of magic exists! It's a devil's proof, right? Just because you don't know that magic doesn't deny its existence. And I don't bear the responsibility of acting out that magic for you, and yet you have even less room to counter this argument. I wonder if it's okay to fight this way.
Yes, it is truly a spectacular move. Battler, your response if you please.
That's a weird strategy she's taking. So just what is this?
She has placed a piece attacking Ushurimiya Kirie's pattern of behavior. As it already been explained, Kirie's pattern of behavior had her saying that they should not go outside or head to the mansion in order to get food. And yet she herself took the initiative, taking the contradictory action of going out to get food. Unless you can explain this contradiction, she would use this violent move to claim this magic was the cause.
Well, that's probably what Kirie thought in the beginning. But she probably thought through things midway and changed her mind and decided to get food that was really necessary. It'd be bad if things got tough. We were so hungry, have no energy, and well...
She is claiming that this change of heart is due to magic. In short, while it might be extremely difficult, you must explain the reason for Kirie's change of heart.
What are you saying? You're talking about the inside of Kirie's head, right? Can't I also summon Kirie's ghost and question her? Beto! Can't you call Kirie here or something?
She cannot. That is a move permitted only to the witch side.
Sorry. Ah, fuck! She was probably, thinking of us kids and, on the whole thought that food was necessary and...
You must present your claim through objective means. You'll need concrete proof that Kirie changed her mind and decided that food was really necessary for some specific reason. For example, if someone heard her say that, or if it was written down somewhere.
Too bad! The reason she changed her mind was not passed on to anyone, nor was it written down. Therefore, you can only speculate as to what was inside Kirei's mind. So it's impossible to explain. You don't have a single counter to my move. Isn't it your turn to resign now, battler?
It is possible to hypothesize endlessly as to the reason behind her change of heart, and it is impossible to crush all those endless possibilities. A detestably spectacular move. If Battler were to have a method of countering, it'd probably only be that move. What move is that? Well, I wonder what kind of move it could be. I have a feeling it was Milady's specialty, but I cannot remember. Quit being stingy and tell me.
Beatrice, no answers will be given to those who stop thinking for themselves. Think. Think in your own way. Why don't you resign right now? And I'll corner you even more with Red. Until the last instance before she died, Kirei's behavior pattern of not going to get food equals not going to the mansion was maintained. And yet she took the initiative and headed toward the mansion. She was pushing a cart, ready to carry food. Why that contradiction? Because I controlled her with magic! This is proof that magic exists and that I am a witch!
Shut the hell up! Are you saying that she never even changed her mind? The whole time until she died, Kirei thought we don't need food and we won't go to the mansion. Then why did she step herself forward and say that they should go to get food and go to the mansion? Are you saying that Kirei was being controlled with magic? That's stupid! How should I break through this magic? If only Kirei were here and just told us the reason behind her change of heart. Oh, I've already been told in Red that she never even changed her mind. What should I do? There's no move that the human side can counter with.
The more I learn about this game, the more advantageous the rules seem for the witch, right? Even if I lose in a lot of areas, I can win with just one. That alone can display the existence of a witch. In other words, Battler has no way of denying witches other than a complete victory. How truly funny that even though you thought you could corner me and call me Ava, it's all been spun around by nothing more than the inside of your respected Kirei's head, right? Just do it, resign. If only you just accept it. If only you just lose.
Damn it! It's impossible for a human to prove. I can't do anything but guess at what the dead was thinking when they acted. Furthermore, I can't deny the magic was based on conjecture alone. To break through it, I need objective proof as to why Kirei had a change of heart. But damn it! It's been said in Red that no proof exists. Why she changed her mind and wanted food? What should I do? Damn it! Damn it! Battler, is this your resignation? Not going to get food equals not going to the mansion. But then how should I understand Kirei's thoughts, which actually do contradict each other?
You can't understand. It's impossible to understand and impossible to interpret. That darkness is all the witch. Come on, it's useless to think, so quit, okay? You just can't deny witches. After all, I exist right here. I am the Golden Witch. I stole that name from the former witch over there. You can't deny that I'm Beatrice.
Damn it! You have no right to use that name. And yet, I can't think of a way to deny it. Battler could no longer counter to this witch who was laughing insanely in triumph. He didn't want to give up, but no move appeared. He grounded his teeth, making fists with both hands, but even so, he couldn't think of a brilliant counterattack. Battler, your time limit is over, so will you resign? The human side has no move in response. It will resign. Wait! There is a counter. What did you say?
Huh? What kind of move could possibly exist, predecessor? Won't you tell me what kind of move could deny this magic of Beatrice's? You can't. It's impossible.
If the proposition that not going to get food equals not going to the mansion cannot be explained by itself, I will explain with a contrapositive. In short, you can also explain it with, she still went to the mansion equals she had a goal other than food. This is less my specialty. Hempel's Raven than it is Balor's specialty, chessboard thinking. If it was impossible for Kiri to have gone to the mansion with food as a goal, then we can only explain by saying she had another reason that got her to go outside despite that. In other words, if we can prove that she had such a goal, we can defeat this magic.
I see. So she didn't go to the mansion with food as a goal, but she had a different goal, and she said she wanted to go and get food in order to disguise her real goal. True enough, it might be possible to find an explanation that way, but how?
Teacher, reconstruct the scene of Kirie's death. We cannot summon a ghost, but inspecting the corpse ought to be the right allowed to the human side.
Yes, there is no problem. I shall reconstruct the scene where Ushurimiya Kirie died. We cannot call Kirie's ghost here, but by finding out what Kirie left behind, we may use that as a weapon. Fine! Search as much as you want. There's no way you'll learn anything. Just as I said and read a short while ago, Kirie did not leave anything written down. No matter what you find, how could you possibly figure anything out?
We may not find anything, but Balor is grinding his teeth, fighting to think of a move to break through you. This is all I can do.
Beatrice landed on her feet in the reconstructed hall, approached Kirie's corpse, and wandered around observing.
I'm completely clueless when it comes to fighting on the human side. We need to find evidence, right? Then what should I search for?
The great Lady Beatrice is getting down on her knees and crawling around, and she's even indecently searching a corpse. That look suits you.
Say whatever you wish. I cannot do any more than this. I care not how I am despised. However, I cannot throw Balor away, as he is fighting for my honor. Even if I must crawl on the ground and search through dead flesh, I must answer to that responsibility.
Bathed in the witch's sneers, Beato searched through Kirie's corpse. She fished through the pockets, taking what was inside out and laying it through the floor. Laid on the floor was a handkerchief, tissue, a key to her house, the stub of a boat ticket, a lighter, and a cigarette butt, and a single 100-yen coin. There was no special suspicious object. Although Beato was down all fours being sneered at, that was all she could find. What's with that seedy-looking trash? How do you think you can break through my magic with that stuff? Worthless! Worthless! Are you a moron? How can you be so lame and right after you cut in between us talking so tough? Ah, how pathetic! How embarrassing! If only you just give up and die! The witch fell over laughing, lambasting Beato. Beato hung her head, trying to withstand the shame.
Milady, are you finished with your inspection? Indeed. I will not find any more than this.
Can you make any counter from this evidence? If not, then the human side must resign. Obviously, you don't have any room to argue back. I am a witch. You cannot break through my magic. You're no longer anything but a former witch, a loser who isn't even allowed to take the name Beatrice anymore. Come on, pile up as much trash and rubbish as you like, and just try to break my magic. You can't, right? You can't, can you? And why's that? It's because I'm a witch. It's because you're just a loser without a name.
Something should be here. I won't lose heart. I will not lose heart. No matter how much I'm sneered at, Balor is fighting for my honor. So for the sake of his honor, I must not lose heart.
As Beatrice held back tears at the words of humiliation she was being showered with, she tried to find if Kirie was holding something else, to find something that could save Balor from his plight, searching earnestly. However, nothing more came up.
Damn it, please, Ushurimiya Kirie. You must save your son from his plight. Please, after death, let me power for his sake.
However, Kyrie's body did not answer. It was only natural that a corpse would remain silent. No dead person existed that would answer Beato, who had lost the endless magic. It's pointless, pointless, pointless. Toying with the dead is a privilege only for witches. For you, who is neither a witch nor even a human, no one exists who will lend a hand. You'll be alone for all eternity. You have no witch or human allies, and no one will save you. If that's frustrating, why don't you cry? If only you just apologize, saying, I'm sorry, I'm so useless.
Sorry, battler. I couldn't help you at all.
No, that's enough. Thanks, Beato. I won't waste your efforts.
I don't need consoling. Just how could you possibly argue back with this pile of rubbish? Just how could you possibly strike back with this rubbish I scrapped together while she sneered at me?
In front of Beato, who was still crawling on all fours, hitting the pile of objects Kyrie had left behind with her fists, Battler also crouched. And after patting her on the shoulder in thanks, he moved that hand to the ground and picked up the cigarette butt and held it up over his head.
What are you trying to say with that trash?
Kyrie doesn't smoke, but Kyrie also had a lighter on her. True, she didn't have an actual box of cigarettes, but at a glance it naturally looked as though Kyrie had a smoking habit. Dad smoked, but Kyrie didn't, but she did walk around with a lighter just to light Dad's cigarettes. Ha! So what? If the husband smoked, then even if the wife didn't, it wouldn't be strange for her to be holding a cigarette. Maybe she just picked up the cigarette butt of her husband who had bad smoking manners. What are you trying to say? What does this have to do with my magic? Nothing at all! I'll say it more. This is a different brand of cigarette than Dad smokes. Sorry, Beato. Could you look in the pockets of Dad's corpse too?
Indeed. You mean this? Checking the brand. The brand is different from the cigarette butt. The cigarette butt Kyrie is holding is not the same brand that Rudolph smokes. And so what? Maybe Kyrie is just a good girl who likes to do things and be clean, so she couldn't leave a fallen cigarette butt alone and picked it up? I wouldn't, though. Beato, sorry, but one more time, please. Uncle Hideyoshi's pockets. In this family, only Dad and Hideyoshi smoke cigarettes. It's here. Is this it?
Beato found a cigarette box in Hideyoshi's pocket and took a single one out and held it up.
Checking the brand. We acknowledge that the cigarette butt is of the same brand that Hideyoshi smokes.
And so what? How can you break my magic just because you found Hideyoshi's cigarette butt in Kyrie's pocket? That's right. The cigarette butt is a message from Kyrie. No, the cigarette butt is the reason that Kyrie left the guest house. Beato, thank you. If you hadn't found this, I would have given up here. Virgilia! Reconstruct the situation! The guest house after it came to light that Aunt Rosa and Maria had been killed on the second twilight.
Understood. Reconstructing now. After Rosa and Maria's death, the remaining survivors rechecked all the doors and windows in the mansion. They constructed a barricade. They were confirmed that the defenses were solid.
There's nothing suspicious about that at all. What are you trying to say? Why are you bringing up the second twilight when we're talking about the fourth and after? Dad carried a portable cigarette butt holder with him. I finally started to see why Kyrie went out of her way to put a cigarette butt in her own pocket. It was because that cigarette butt meant something. That cigarette butt itself was a message left by Kyrie for us. Then let's hear it. How do you plan to deny me with that single cigarette butt? As we've heard, after the second twilight, an inspection was done in all the rooms in the guest house. At that time, Kyrie found something that shouldn't exist in a place where it shouldn't be.
Something that shouldn't exist? What do you mean by that?
It's this cigarette butt. This was set in the ashtray of the guest room that Uncle Hideyoshi was in. What's wrong with there being a cigarette butt in an ashtray? Are you sure sure there isn't something wrong with your head? Aunt Ava hated smoking. There's no way there'd be a cigarette butt where Aunt Ava was sick and sleeping. However, there was a cigarette butt in the ashtray. When she saw that, Kirei noticed immediately. Uncle Hideyoshi was lying. She realized that Aunt Ava hadn't really been sleeping, and that she snuck out of the room. Repeat it! This cigarette butt was crushed down the ashtray of the room where Aunt Ava and Uncle Hideyoshi were resting. I refuse! I finally got it. Thank you, Beto.
Was I of some use?
Yeah, you were. Tear it. We'll tear out the mask of that fake witch. From that cigarette butt, Kirei realized that Hideyoshi was creating an alibi for Ava's sake. Hideyoshi had been tasked with watching over the room to create an alibi, and during that time, he was unable to withstand the tension and smoked. Then Kirei had confessed that to Rudolph. She confessed that there was a good chance that Ava was the culprit and Hideyoshi was accomplice. Next, Kirei proposed that they go get food. She then asked Uncle Hideyoshi to lend a hand. This could only mean one thing. Kirei had planned to isolate Uncle Hideyoshi and question him about the truth. Your Hempel's raven is valid. Unless the witch side counters this move, the existence of the magic that supposedly controlled Kirei has been denied. What did you say? I deny it anyway! I deny it! It wasn't me, no! It wasn't Ushiromi Ava! Ava was sleeping in her room! Then try saying it! Yeah, you can't say it! You can't say it this time either! Repeat it! At that time, Ushiromi Ava did not take a step outside her room! What the hell is that? I'm the one who was attacking, right? Why am I the one being attacked now? When did offense and defense get reversed? I'm the one questioning you, right? The witch me! So why? Again! Repeat it! Ushiromi Ava did not leave that room! There's no way you can say it! It's checkmate!
Does the witch side have a move in response? There cannot be one. There is no truth that can be accepted from a false witch dressed up in truth and falsehoods.
You aren't qualified to call yourself a real witch! You aren't the Golden Witch! You're a human! Ushiromi Ava! The witch howled. Her entire body was burned with the tremendous heat that denied her own magic and existence. She let out a howl like a dragon.
Yo, what's up?
Her body flickered repeatedly, flashing as though Ava's figure and the witch's figure overlapped.
Yes, you did. Oh well.
However, that yell was sucked into the flicker, making a return to the original form of the cruel witch. Sure. If you want to call me Ushiromi Ava, then go ahead and do that. That's right. I actually can't repulse all moves related to Ushiromi Ava being the culprit. I may have been dragged down from the position of Golden Witch, and you might call me Ushiromi Ava now. But you know what? That by itself doesn't mean that witches and magic have been denied. I'll teach you starting now. I'll teach you that I am not Ushiromi Ava nor a human, but a real witch. Take a look at this red truth. When the witch clapped her hands, time advanced in the world of the game board. There's still cool scenes, of course. Balor and Ava dashed to the front of the parlor, calling out Jessica's name. They were searching for Jessica because they'd gone to the servant room and found Nanjo's corpse and didn't know where Jessica was.
What's the power scale on this level? It's over 9. I'm sorry.
So what's your point? What are you trying to say?
You couldn't be... Oh no.
Beato went pale. In other words, the move the evil witch was about to make was bad enough to make even Beato go pale. This time, I'll give you a fatal move that you won't be able to talk yourself out of. No, I'll make this move against all humans who support you. Listen carefully to my move.
Stop it, that move is...
Beto, stay back! I'll take it! Come on, you fake witch! After Jessica was injured, Ava was constantly under Balor's supervision. Balor is neither the culprit nor our accomplice. By this, we can establish a perfect alibi for Ava.
What?
I'll seal you, and humans as well, in a red barrier that most certainly cannot be escaped from. Farewell, lowly humans. Sleep for all eternity in an absolute closed room of magic with no exits. Come on. Listen carefully. Listen to the red truth. There are no more than 18 humans on this island. Throw away your foolish thoughts of mysterious people hiding and committing crimes. But if I say it that way, you might also suspect animal culprits. I couldn't stand to hear some irrational theory about how an orangutan trained to commit murder wouldn't count as a human. So I'll change it like this. No life forms other than humans have any connections to this game. That is how it is. Next, I'll explain the situation of all the 18 people who exist on this island. Kinzo is dead. Kraus is dead. Natsuhi is dead. Hideyoshi is dead. George is dead. Rudolph is dead. Kyrie is dead. Rosa is dead. Maria is dead. Genji is dead. Shannon is dead. Kanon is dead. Goda is dead. Kumasawa is dead. Nanjo is dead. Those 15 are all dead. And Balor is alive. Ava is alive. Jessica is alive. And that's everyone. All 18 of them. Which means that when the last victim, Nanjo, died, only 3 people, Balor, Ava, and Jessica, were alive, right?
What did you just say? Damn it, you don't mean...
Ava was with you the whole time, so committing a crime was impossible for her. Of course, Balor isn't the culprit. He wasn't forging an alibi for her. He took the possibility that she was the culprit into account, watching over her actions carefully. No chance existed for her to do anything suspicious. In short, all the time of the crime, only Nanjo and Jessica were in the servant room. And I know what you're thinking. Your next move will be with this, right? There's also a chance that Jessica is the culprit, but too bad. I'll slice it up in red before you try. Ushiromiya Jessica has not committed murder. She was not involved in Nanjo's murder. Her eyes were completely covered. It'd be impossible for her to carry out a murder like that. And here's a bonus. Neither Ava nor Balor killed Nanjo, nor were they involved.
Wait a second! That doesn't make sense! There were only 3 humans that a murder occurs, and none of those 3 were involved. That's insane!
I'll state it clearly. The culprit who killed Nanjo was neither Balor, nor Ava, nor Jessica. In other words, it wasn't one of those survivors. Get it?
No, that's right. What about multiple personalities? Just like how you were originally another personality on Ava's, let's say Jessica had another witch-like personality, which took the name of someone other than Jessica and killed Dr. Nanjo.
Moron! I've already said it in red. Jessica's eyes were completely covered and murder was impossible for her. No matter what kind of personality she was possessed by, murder could not be carried out with her body. I wonder if you'll be satisfied if I say it this way. No actions caused by Jessica's body had any relation to nor influence on the murder of Nanjo. This also applies to Balor and Ava. In other words, no matter how much you try to struggle and interpret it, neither Jessica nor Balor nor Ava is the culprit who killed Nanjo.
You've got to be kidding me! I mean, everyone else is definitely dead, right? Then all that's left is that Dr. Nanjo killed himself, right? And the trap theory. The culprit was already dead, but the trap they already had prepared went off.
Nanjo's death was a homicide. Of course, it was a direct method of murder, not a trap. A weapon was ready, and he was killed in front with point-blank range in front of him. The culprit appeared openly before Nanjo's eyes as they both looked at each other's faces. The culprit killed him.
But wait! There are only 3 survivors! You said in red that everyone else is dead! You basically for the life or death debate of all 18 people! Furthermore, the existence of a 19th person has already been denied in red! In other words, no one can exist except for the 3 survivors, and yet a 4th person other than those 3 appeared before Dr. Nanjo! How can a person other than us appear and murder Dr. Nanjo when no 19th person exists? Insane! You're lying!
red only tells the truth. Isn't doubting that the Suma's betraying the honor of that which was mine. You're shriveling up in the fear of me, hiding behind your back.
Damn it!
Right now, I'll state it clearly. The one who appeared in front of Nanja was me, a witch. The Golden Witch who can't be explained away with the 18 humans.
Virgilia! Renove! Isn't there a contradiction in the situation? Is she really telling the truth of the red? Yes, her red truth is valid. What an elaborate and precise cornering. How should I make a move against her? Virgilia! Are there any moves? I cannot think of anything. And you, Renove! My apologies. However, in these last 1,000 years, I have never seen such an elaborately beautiful game board layout. I hate to admit it, but it's beautiful. What a beautiful checkmate made in red.
The witch's teacher and the demon butler were both stunned. An expression of ecstasy rose to their faces.
Well, oh shit.
Forget surrendering. They were impressed at this perfect checkmate, which simply had to be admired. When people accept defeat from the bottom of their hearts, it gives rise to neither regrets nor humiliation. Nothing is born except for the feelings of respect. I no longer knew what was what anymore. There were absolutely no weak points in her red. She'd said in red that all 15 people had died. She said in red that no people existed other than the 18. In other words, no more than 3 people, me, Jessica, and Aunt Ava, existed. And even though none of these 3 people were the culprit, Dr. Nanja was killed. And without a doubt, Dr. Nanja's death was a homicide. He was murdered by that person openly in front of him. And she's saying that that person is a witch! The culprit who killed Nanja was not an animal or anything of the sort. That has already been dealt with red, right? Everything other than the humans have been completely removed from consideration. Even things like robots don't work. Absolutely no factors other than humans participate in this game board. Therefore, I can also say this. The one who killed Nanja was definitely a human. A human with their feet on the ground held up a weapon and killed with it right before his eyes. However, the human may have been able to use magic. In other words, it was a witch. In other words, it was me, the Golden Witch Beatrice. Even as Battler ground his teeth, his knees hit the floor with a thunk. His soul still refused to surrender. However, his knees had already started to accept surrender. Oh, did you kneel? That's right. You're already starting to understand. The Golden Witch does exist. And that the Golden Witch Beatrice is me. Come on, praise me. Now praise the resurrection of a true witch. Now praise the resurrection of the Golden Witch Beatrice. On the night twilight the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive.
Damn it! I don't understand. After being so thoroughly immobilized by the red, I don't have a clue anymore! Battler, don't lose heart. You and I promised that we would fight each other again, right? Will you surrender here? Will you disappear in a place like this before fighting with me again? I don't want to break that promise. However, I can't think of any move to deny her. In the first place, this isn't even a puzzle. Nothing exists outside of the suspects, and all the suspects are innocent. I was told they were innocent in red, right? And also, that was a real homicide, and the culprit was a human, and they did appear before Dr. Nanja's eyes and kill him. I give up. There's nothing I can do. Please, Battler, don't give up. Don't lose heart. If you stop thinking, it automatically becomes your loss. I'm begging you. Don't lose heart. I'm also cheering you on, so don't lose. I can't think of anything anymore.
I find myself thinking she's gotta be a witch who must have done it with magic, which makes it all thinking pointless. It's useless. My head hurts. My brain's tired. I'm starting to think that thinking is pointless, so I should just stop.
Battler, listen. In the game of chess, both sides do all they can to make the other lose, so a single game takes a long period of time. However, one side throws away victory from the beginning and makes moves harmful to themselves. The game can end in the blink of an eye. That is what is called a fool's mate. A fool's mate is, simply put, a strange way of playing chess in which the fastest methods of losing are considered. Opening the area in front of your own king and inviting the opponent's queen in. Even though the average game in chess takes several hours, a game can be resolved in a scant 4 moves. In other words, if both sides try to win in a fight, they are compelled to take a painfully long period of time. But if one side decides to lose, the game can be ended far too easily at any time. When the human side stops thinking and hands the problem before its eyes over to the witch, and even an apple falling from a tree can immediately be resolved as a work of magic. It is the same for the witch's side. Witches use the red truth. By using that, they can explain the true form of magic with humans and immediately lose.
You don't have to tell me that. You're telling me not to stop thinking, right? However, how should I counterattack that person's perfect bright red move? For me, for humans, it's no longer possible.
Is it impossible? Is it really impossible for you, Battler? Please, don't lose heart.
Sorry, I've reached my limit. Battler scratched at the floor, crying heavily. Beto watched that with a distressed face. Then she stood up and spoke to the witch.
I will make a move as a counter to yours.
Huh? I wonder just how Blech, I messed up, I'm sorry. Well, with how I messed up, I might as well just start addressing stuff. So anyway. Oh yes, Battler rage quit and hit Ava with a chessboard. Anyway. Huh? I wonder just how you plan to cut up this perfect checkmate. How can this checkmate, one totally impossible for humans to break, be defeated by the likes of you?
But Beatrice, you don't mean to. Indeed. If a human cannot make a move, I will assault you with a move that I can use precisely because I am a witch.
A move you can use because you're a witch? What are you planning to do?
I will use the red. To deny witches. Beatrice, milady!
The teacher and the butler were both startled. I also immediately understood what it meant. To use the red that only witches could use. To use the red to deny witches. It was like using her own sword to slit her own throat. What? Hey, what are you saying? Deny witches with red? Quit talking like that idiot! If you do that, you won't get away unscathed either!
You are not a witch, and I am not a witch either. The road to becoming a true witch is difficult, and I have much, much farther to go. Very well then. Right here, right now. There have never been any witches in the first place. I will strip this deception away myself.
Aren't both of us real obvious witches? Being able to use red itself is proof of witches! I don't know what the definition of a witch is to you, but if you think that you alone will be able to get away unscathed, then...
How could I make such a mistake? I cannot.
What did you say?
I never did manage to become a witch. I've done nothing more than finally begin walking down the road to becoming a true witch. If what I am right now is a witch, then I'm a false witch like you, one who is merely drunk on power. Rather than existing in that shabby form, I shall erase this form of mine along with you, without any regrets.
Are you insane? Stop it! I still want to be a witch! I hate being a human!
Witch, please return to your seat. Please receive the human side's counter from your seat.
What are you doing? As the witch stood from her seat and tried to spring upon Beato, Renove pressed down on both of her shoulders, forcing her back into her seat. And even after that, he didn't remove his hands from those shoulders. Denying witches was the same as denying magic. That included demons such as Renove. However, instead of running away, Renove chose to act as the facilitator for this game, and to carry out that duty for his master's sake. Beatrice, you have no regrets, right?
That is my line. Sorry, teacher. Even though you taught me so much about fun magic and magic that brings happiness, I wasn't able to use it well at all. So I'll study from square one and start over again. I'm truly sorry that you had to suffer for your stupid disciple's misconduct.
I had a good disciple in the very end. Go. Do what you believe in. I don't have a clue what you guys are talking about. But I do understand one thing, and I can say this. Beato, I don't know what you're trying to do, but stop trying to do it!
You have no moves, but I have one. If we let that move get away, she will be revived as a witch in the truest sense, and this time she will control this whole island. All nightmares will be hers to do as she pleases, and this island will fall into the deepest hell of the evil witches' repeating delusions, for all eternity. Can you permit that? Don't you care if your dear relatives are toyed with for all eternity in that witch's nightmare?
Still, you shouldn't have to sacrifice yourself. This is a game between me and her. You shouldn't have to make your move and sacrifice yourself. I'll think of something. Surely I'll think of a miraculous move. So don't rush into it. Ah, damn it! I'll definitely think of one, so don't rush into it!
This game is cruel. The time limit for consideration has already run out. I am now the only one who can do it. Calm yourself, battler. I'll defeat her. I'll defeat that cruel witch with my own hands.
Wait, Beato! Stop it! Quit it! There's absolutely no need for you to sacrifice yourself!
Weren't you fighting to deny me? What a strange person.
Let that child do as she likes. And please, watch her until the end. But...
Battler, there's only one thing that I ask. Would you cover your ears?
My ears? Why?
Starting now, I will deny witches in red. I will slice up the game board that she laid out with her red. By doing that, I will probably lose my form as a witch as well. If you also hear the red truth I speak, you will understand my true form. If you alone cover your ears, that truth will not change at all. However, even so, I want you alone to cover your ears. I at least want to be a witch. In your eyes. Please. Beatrice, there are no problems on the witch's side. Please, your move.
Let go! I won't let you get away with this either, okay? She's insane! Do you plan on dying and taking us with you? Stop it! Don't deny it! Stop it!
Hans slightly for a golden witch. Okay, are you ready? I will remove your check in Battler's stead. What happened on the chessboard where 15 died and only 3 remained? Starting now, I will expose it in red. With that red truth, I will pierce and kill both fake witches.
Beato turned around and smiled at Battler. Most likely, no one would believe that the witch who had gone to the limits of cruelty would try to leave a smile as the last expression she showed Battler. And that smile signified her last wish, that she wanted him to cover his ears. Denying witches in red was the same as knowing her shabby form. Battler put both his hands against his ears to protect her final bit of honor as a witch. He put his hands against his ears, rejecting the truth. And he howled, so that not even a bit of what she was saying would slip into his ears. After that was a world where Battler could hear nothing. Beato was saying something in red, Even the evil witch covered her ears at those bitter contents. That was the red truth. Words of power. Words that denied her own existence. Unique words that only witches could use, which denied witches. Beato spoke. With the red truth, she cut up the bright red game board the witch had released. She explained difficult problems that could not be solved by humans with moves that could only be solved by witches and began cornering the witch. The truth that Balor was not permitted to hear. If Balor had broken his promise and sneakily eavesdropped, in an instant, Balor would have probably been able to become the victor in his game with Beato. He would probably have understood all the riddles on this island, all the magic and tricks, closed rooms, spells, curses, legends, and this entire tale of anger and sadness. However, Balor would only learn what it was when he reached the truth by himself. Yes, from the beginning, Beatrice had wished that Balor would reach that truth by himself. It was something one shouldn't reach by being told it. It was a truth that Balor would have to drag himself to by his own power. A brilliant light gathered with Beato and the evil witch at the center and grew gradually stronger. It was the power of the truth. Its heat and brilliance, like the sun, shone on all the falsehoods that hid in the darkness, trying to deceive, and burnt them to nothing. Why? Why can you die? Why can you throw away your life when you have such incredible power? You hold the power to control gold, magic, everything at will. Why can you so readily throw that away?
Learn that, even with a mountain of gold, even with magic to split the sea, there are some things that you can never obtain. Come, show yourself. Show your true form, Ushuramiya Ava.
When the sun exploded and blew everything away, Ava could be seen there holding a gun. You're the culprit, Aunt Ava!
Took you long enough to notice, battler!
Without any hesitation or mercy, Ava raised her gun and pulled the trigger. As an explosive sound rang out, Balor's heart was shot through and he fell to the floor. After going into convulsions for a short time, with blood dripping from his mouth, Balor died. But in his last moments he realized without a doubt that she was a murderer, and not just for killing him. There have been many murders and I don't have a clue how they were carried out. However, while my ears were covered, Beato exposed all of them with red, blasting away all magic. In other words, even though I didn't understand it, was that nothing more or less than proof that magic can all be explained with humans. Beato made me cover my ears, so I myself don't know the whole truth. However, now that it's been denied and read, I can see one fact which is extremely unfair for us, that it is possible to deny all magic. So in other words, no, I must not think of that. If I do, then the time I spent covering my ears would be made pointless. If I'm going to regret, I can only regret my own actions. If at that time I thought of some move to spin things around and counter the witch's final move, there would have been no need for Beato to sacrifice herself. It was my own worthlessness that brought about this conclusion. Even though it was pitch black world where nothing could be seen, for some reason I felt Beato's presence right next to me. So I tried calling out to her. You could exchange words with someone whether they're human or a witch. So even in a world where witches have been denied, I should be able to allow to talk to her. Beato.
Battler, is it? It is done. I did it.
Yeah. I didn't hear it, but I watched you until the very end. I definitely saw you boldly stand up to that evil witch.
With this, I am no longer a witch, but I will definitely become a witch again. And then, I will make it so that I can be called the Golden Witch again, and once again, return, so that I can be accepted as your opponent.
No. You were a witch.
Huh?
I saw it. You took that evil witch and blew her away with that awesome magic, exposing her true form. I saw it with my own eyes.
That wasn't magic, but the red...
No, it was magic. You were definitely the Golden Witch. Even if you deny it yourself, I'll acknowledge it. You are definitely the Golden Witch. When Balor said those words, in the world that had been dark, there was suddenly a single grain. A small grain of gold, like a wheat seed, shone brightly. And even though it was small, it had a strong gold-colored sparkle.